Welcome to another deck tech. This deck tech is based around my commander, who is Light-Paws, Emperor's Voice. It costs 1 white and a colourless. It says whenever an aura enters the battlefield under your control, if you cast it, you may search your library for an aura card with mana value less or equal to the aura with a different name other than the aura each other aura you control. Put that card on the battlefield attached to Light-Paws, the Emperor's Voice, then shuffle. I built this deck around enchantment based, a lot of lockdown for your opponent's creatures, and to search through to get enchantment on Light-Paws himself, to make him basically a Voltron commander. I'll go through the cards and the creatures that I chose for this deck and the reason why I chose each card for this deck. You can actually, I will leave a link for this for Moxfield, so you can actually go and test play this deck yourself as well. I'll go through the creatures first, and I will tell you why each one of those went in. Okay, Aerial Responder. I've put that in, being Flying, Vigilance, Lifelink. It's good for a little bit of life gain in early game, and also towards late game. It's not really a dead draw. Archon of Sun's Grace. I'll put this in here for the Flying Lifelink version, and it says Pegasus you control have Lifelink. It's got Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters a battlefield under your control, you create a 2/2 white Pegasus creature taker with flying. It says this deck based a lot on auras, which are actually enchantments. You should be able to produce a lot of Pegasi. The next one I put in here too is Archon of the Wild Rose. It says other creatures that are enchanted by auras you control have base power toughness and 4/4 and have flying. This is actually great just in case you don't actually want to put your aura onto Light-Paws. You can put it onto another creature. And when you've got Archon out on the table, then that creature's going to have a base terror toughness of 4/4 and flying, which is really handy for a lot of creatures. We've got Ardeen here as well. It says at the beginning of the combat of your turn, you may attach any number of aura and equipment you control to target permanent or player. This is actually handy if you want to sort of move some of them from Light-Paws onto another creature. It makes it quite easy with this. Basically, you could use this as a commander as well, but it's used in a 99 of the deck. Braid, he's pretty much put in there to stop people attacking you unless they want to pay 1 for each of those creatures attacking you. I have a few of these effects in the deck, sort of a pillow fort thing to let you help build up a little bit while, if you haven't got enough enchantments or auras out in the game, so it actually helps you to sort of lock your opponent down so they don't overrun you with easy light level kills early in the game or very fast decks, goblin decks, etc. This makes it hard for them to attack you with 50 odd creatures because they'll have to pay a mana for each one. Danitha's a perfect companion to go in this deck here because Danitha is first strike, vigilance, lifelink, which again, gaining a bit of lifelink early game is great, but aura and equipment spells you cast cost 1 colourless less. All of our auras in this deck are reasonably cheap, and so with the we don't really have equipments, but we do have a lot of auras. We do have a few equipments, but not many. But that will make them a lot easier to cast. And a lot of countless battles. I played this card when it was first released. It's a great card to play because you can play it as itself as a creature, and it has bestow, so you can cast it as an aura attached to a creature. It says, at a lot of countless battles, an enchanted creature each get +1/+1 for each other creature you control, and +1/+1 for each other aura you control. So that's actually really fun, especially if you've got multiple creatures out or you've got multiple auras on the same creature. This really helps boost the creature up, especially with lifelink. In early game or mid game, they're great. 8.5 tails. I put this in the deck to sheerly get protection. It says target permanent you control gains protection from white until the end of turn, and if let's say they target it with an unsummon, for instance, you can say target spell becomes white until the end of turn. It's really good like that. So if somebody tries to say lightning bolt your creature before you put an enchantment on there, you can say, okay, well that's actually white, and I'll pay 3 to give it protection from white until the end of turn. So that's basically a protection spell for the deck. Healer's Flock, again, easy, cheap life gain. Helps you get above your opponent's life total and keep yours reasonably high before they start coming in at you, which is going to happen. Heliod's basically a tutor on a creature body, so it lets you search your library for an aura card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So, as you know, with Light-Paws being a Voltron commander, you can search through for anyone you need currently, whether that's a lockdown for your opponent's creatures or actually to help boost your own creature. That's why it's in the deck. You can go and find your best aura that you need at the time. Hopeful Eidolon is another one with Bestow. That if you put it on a creature, it says enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. This actually tallies really well if you bestow Eidolon of Countless Battles onto it, but pretty much double pumps it. It's actually a really great spell, plus the 1/1 lifelink. And then we've got Messer Enchantress. This here is basically whenever you cast an enchantment spell, draw a card, since auras are enchantments. As you can see, well, that one's gone into the deck pretty easily. This one says whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield and whenever a room fully becomes unlocked, there's no rooms in this deck, put a +1/+1 count on this creature. So pretty much every time you cast an aura, this is going to get bigger. I've got Pearl here in this deck as well. It's got lifelink as well. Equipment spells, enchantment spells you cast have affinity for auras, since a lot of auras, stuff's going to become cheaper or even free. It says whenever you cast an aura spell that targets a modified permanent you control, draw a card. So if you've already got Light-Paws out with an equipment on there and another aura on there, and you cast it again, another aura onto that creature, well, then you'll get to draw a card. I got Possessed Goat only because I found this was a hilarious creature that starts as a 1/1 goat, and you can pay 3, discard a card, put 3 1/1 counters on it, and it becomes a black demon in addition to its other types. I just thought it was hilarious. No real reason for the being in the deck, but it's a bit of a meme. I found it was hilarious. Speaker of the Heavens. I've had several of these since the set was released, because you've got Vigilance, so it doesn't tap to attack. It also has lifelink. And you can tap to create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Activate this ability only if you have at least 7 more life than your starting total. And do it only any time you could cast a sorcery. But a lot of times with this deck, with a lot of life linking, you're going to be able to get yourself an angel for a tap ability. So that's pretty much why it's in the deck. This Sunscorched Regent, Love as a Dragon, it's a 5-drop 4/3, but it never stays that way for a while, because it says whenever an opponent casts a spell, that's any spell, put a 1/1 counter on it and gain a life. So hence, that's going to help with the life gain triggers to use with the Speaker as well. Just a great creature to have in a deck. It's the only reason it's really in there. Tragic Poet. This lets you return an enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand to say they've killed your creature. They killed Light-Paws, for instance. You've had a few auras on there and they've killed it. Well, you actually get one of those back to your hand, which will help you trigger off Light-Paws again. Same with Windborne Muse. Windborne Muse is put in the deck the same reason why Braid's put in the deck, so that you pillow fort yourself, and it says creatures can't attack you unless your controllers pay 2 for each creature that's attacking you. So again, stops being rushed with fast aggro decks early game to mid game. Great like that. So yeah, if you got that out, you got a couple of these effects out. It could be 3 or 4 mana per creature they want to attack you with. So they're not going to get through with little creatures to chip away your life total. Hence the reason why it's in the deck. Okay, Helping Hand. Return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. A lot of the creatures in this deck are 3 or less mana cost, as you've seen. Hence the reason why that's in there. It's a very cheap getting something back spell. Open the Armory. That's basically a tutor that you're using just for your auras, which any time of the game where you want to get out a bigger aura, or you just want to get a certain aura out of the deck, that's really good for that. Split it up. This could be a good one-sided board wipe, especially if you've had 3 opponents all attack during their turns and it comes to your turn. Before you do anything, you can pay 3 and literally wipe out anything that's tapped, destroy all tapped creatures or destroy all untapped creatures. So if they're all tapped, happy days. If you've gone for a full swing and you've got nothing untapped, you can destroy all untapped creatures. It's a very cheap board wipe, and as you can see, for $2.49, it's well worth putting in a deck. Okay, so instance for this deck. Okay, choose a colour. Brave the Elements. This is a very, very old card, but very, very good in Commander. It says choose a colour. White creatures you control gain protection of a chosen colour till the end of turn. That's actually a great protection spell. It's actually a great Alpha Strike as well. If you've got multiple creatures on the table you want to get through, and they say they're playing a monocoloured deck, say black or red or green, something like that, you can literally name that colour and then walk through. That's the whole entire reasons why that's there. Duty Beyond Death. I love this one as well. As additional cost to cast your spell, sacrifice a creature. Creature you control gain indestructible in a turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's actually a really good. Consider it's an instant. If someone goes to board wipe, you can sack a creature, keep everything you've got protection. That's a great, great card. This is also a great spell as well. If they're single targeting a creature you want to keep on the table, say it's something that whenever you play an enchantment, draw a card. You can bounce that creature to your hand, bounce your creature to exile and back into play. So that actually gets around some board wipes as well. Stroke of Midnight, destroy target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a human. A 1/1 human creature token. Well, if you're coming at you with a 9/9 demon, for instance, that's going to help a lot. Artifacts in the deck, there's not too many. You get Standard Arcane Signet and Soul Ring. Helm of the Gods, equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. That's actually great on pretty much any creature. Now, the enchantments for this deck, there is quite a few, so you'll have to bear with me here. They're all in there specifically as either a boost for your own creatures or a lockdown for your opponent's creatures. As I go through them, I'll give you the basic rundown of each one and why they're in the deck. Okay, all the glitters. This is one of the first auras that I really got into playing auras with. All the glitters says enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. That's great because pretty much that's 90% of the deck. So it's going to get really big boost and it's really cheap. Angelic Destiny, this thing here, I've had this specific copy. I've got multiples of them. I've had them since M12. It says enchanted creature gets +4, gets +4/+4, has flying. First strike is an angel in addition to its other types. Whenever enchanted creature dies, return Angelic Destiny to its owner's hand. So if they kill the creature, you'll get that back into your hand. Basically like Rancor, where it goes to the graveyard, comes back to your hand. This is actually really good because it gives a creature 4/4 for 4, flying and first strike. So if you put it on something with lifelink, that's going to accumulate really quick. Armored Ascension, that's another really great one from M10. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each planes you control and has flying. So that again throws a creature up in the air. A Tale of the Ages, enchanted creature gets +2/+2. Enchanted creatures you control get +2/+2. That's any of them that's enchanted with an aura. That's why that's in the deck. Okay, so Banishing Light, this is a lockdown an opponent's creature. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until this leaves the battlefield. If you're playing against black or red, they're going to have a lot of hard time trying to deal with that sort of enchantment. So they will pretty much whatever you lock down with that isn't coming back. The blessing here, it says it's flash, enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, choose a colour. It has protection from the chosen colour. This does not affect auras and equipment you control that are already attached to it. So if someone is targeting with a white spell, say a Swords to Plowshare, you can cast this with flash, and then you can say protection from white, but it will not remove the auras from the creature, which is good like that because your auras are white, obviously. Cartouche of Solidarity. Enchanted creature you control, so this can only go on one of your creatures. When it enters the battlefield, it creates a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance, which is good if you've only got very low creatures. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 at first strike. So you could actually, any creature you want to attach it to, but that's another target for your auras. Celestial Mantle, enchanted creature gets +3/+3. Whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, double its controller's life total. So this is really great for you. It's a massive life gain if you can keep it on the board long enough for it to survive. Court of Grace, when it enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. If you're the monarch, create a 4/4 angel instead. So as long as you can keep control and be the monarch and someone hasn't attacked, it comes back around to you, you get a 4/4 angel. Quite simple, and either way you get a creature every single turn. So you've got Dimensional Exile here. It says enchant a basic land you control. When this aura enters, exile target creature and opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. As I said, it's hard to get rid of stuff that's attached to things you control unless they can kill the permanent. There's not a lot of land kill really in Commander, so I would say that would be very, very hard for them to get rid of. Dub, great common card. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2, has first strike and is a knight, and doesn't really make a difference, but it's always good to give a creature first strike and 2/2 for 3 mana. Ethereal Armor, this is one of the first auras I ever played. It says enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control and has first strike. So you can combine a few of these together and you can get a lot of value out of 1, 2, and 3 drop spells. Feather of Flight, enchanted creature, so it's got flash. When it enters, draw a card, it gets +1/+0 and flying. It's pretty much just, I'm about to attack, but I think you might be able to block it, so you throw it up in the air. That's pretty much all it is. Grasp of Fate. Grasp of Fate is a battlefield. Each opponent exiles up to 1 target non-land permanent that player's control until this leaves the battlefield. So this hits multiple targets for 3 mana, which is a great spell to whoop on the table, take out three permanents from an opponent, 1 from each of your opponents, and locks them under there. So that's the whole reason why there's multiple targeted that one. Karmic Guide, Griffin Guide, sorry. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and flying. When enchanted creature is put into the graveyard, put a 2/2 Griffin creature token into play with flying. So if you put it onto a creature, the creature gets killed. This goes to the graveyard and you get yourself a flyer. So that's double value for what it can actually do. Okay, Karmic Guide. Whenever a spell or an ability a opponent controls destroys a non-creature permanent you control, you may destroy a permanent that opponent controls. So if they kill one of your auras and this is on the table, you get to kill something back. So it's a bit of payback, really. Mammoth Umbra. This is another great one as well. Gives the creature +3/+3 in vigilance. It's got totem armor. So if enchanted creature would be destroyed, you can remove all the damage and destroy this instead. So you can destroy Mammoth Umbra to protect the creature as well, which is a bit of fun. Martial Impetus. This is a great spell to play on your opponent's creature because the creature becomes goaded, which means it's got to attack somebody that isn't you. Whenever it attacks, each other creature that's attacking one of your opponents gets +1/+1 at the end of turn. So this gives the creature +1/+1, but if they swing it at somebody else, or they swing their whole board at somebody else, they all get +1/+1, which is just funny in itself. On Sarah's Wings, it's again another aura. Enchanted creature is legendary, gets +1/+1, has flying, vigilance, and lifelink. Throwing it up in the air, doesn't tap to attack, and it's got lifelink, so you're going to gain some life from that as well. Ossifications, it's another lockdown spell that attaches to a land you control. And when it enters, exile target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. As I said, hard to get rid of. Pacifism's a classic. That will just stop the creature being able to attack and block. Great for putting your opponent's creatures. If you've got Light-Paws out, search and through, put another aura onto Light-Paws. It's pretty good like that. Same with Planar Disruption, but it says enchant artifact creature or planeswalker instead of just enchant creature. The permanent can't attack or block, can't use any of its abilities. So that's basically an upgraded or a power creep version of Pacifism to lock down an enchant artifact, so it cannot be activated. So that's really fun like that. Prison Term, that's another one. Enchanted creature cannot attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be played. Whenever a creature comes into play under your opponent's control, you can actually switch it onto that creature. So let's say they put out a bigger creature, you can switch it onto that, or something that's more of a threat, you can move it around. That's why I like that card. It's a movable aura. This one again does the same thing. Any chance an artifact or a creature. So basically, the row you see here, the 4 cards here, they're all lockdown spells for your opponent's creatures. There's a few more to go, but yep. And this one here is Sage's Reverie. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each aura you control that is attached to a creature. So if you've got them on your creatures, their creatures, doesn't make a difference. And enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. So not only is it a draw spell, but it gives it a boost as well. So that's pretty fun too. Sarah's Embrace, it gives them 2/2 flying and vigilance. So obviously going on your own creature. This is one that's only just come out recently. It's got flash. Enchanted creature you control. As long as it enters the battlefield this turn, enchanted creature has hexproof. So if they go to target something, you can cast this for 1 mana to protect that creature. And this enchanted creature gets +1/+1. Shielded by Faith, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature is indestructible. When this creature, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may attach this to it. So if you've got something out on the table you really don't want them to kill, that's what you want on it. Okay, so the boon here says enchanted creature gets +1/+1, has flying, and you can pay 3 and return it back to the owner's hand. So instead of being able to move it around, you can bounce it back to your hand, and then you can recast it again. Spirit Mantle, this is old school, love this. Gives a creature +1/+1 protection from creatures. So if they want to block, they can't block with the creature. Their only real chance is removing the creature. This is the spell I like to hunt out with Light-Paws to get Light-Paws through, because if it's got protection from creatures, that's all they've got to block with. They haven't got any removal, it walks through. Squire's Devotion gives a +1/+1, has lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white vampire creature taken with lifelink. So that's pretty fun as well. Another enchantment that they've got to actually destroy. Touch of the Spirit Realm is when it enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target artifact or creature until it leaves the battlefield. But you can actually channel it to exile a creature. Say to bounce a creature back up and back to the table or an artifact. So you can actually bounce something if they're targeting it, so it's a double effect there. Trapped in the Screen, it's got Ward 2, but it exiles a target artifact, creature, or an enchantment an opponent controls until Trapped in the Screen leaves the battlefield. Having Ward 2, especially early game, they'll have to pay 2 extra mana to be able to target it. So this is a great lockdown spell. Second, third turn, really easy to use. Vow of Duty. This one here is pretty much, you can play it on an opponent's creature, but it can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. So unlike being goaded, if you're the only target left when the goaded ability's there, they can attack you. This one they cannot. So enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has vigilance and can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. Flat out, they can't do anything. With the lands for the deck, straight basic 36 basic planes. That's all we needed. Down here we'll show you the tokens you need for the deck. The Angel token, Griffin token, Human. If you go to Moxfield, as you can see when you type them in, it'll tell you what creatures you can actually use them for, what they're actually attached to. So every card that it's attached to, it'll tell you what card actually needs to use that, and it'll tell you what tokens they are as well. You can actually change the artwork on these things as well. But on Moxfield as well, you can go down here, you can see the mana curve of the deck. And at the bottom here, it'll tell you your mana ratio, your mana symbols. And down here, you can actually play test the actual deck itself. So you can say, okay, play my land like you would playing a standard game. So I can play that first turn. Say next turn, you play Light-Paws, your commander. Turn after that, you pay 3. And then you can cast, say I cast onto here, I can search through the deck, find another aura, attach it to it. But yeah, that's the basics of the deck. But yeah, let me know what you think. I've had a lot of fun playing it. There's obviously a lot of changes coming to this deck, but yeah, I know this video isn't actually the best, but if you can like and subscribe, that'd be great. I will be bringing you more deck tech soon. This is only one of many new decks that I've made. And thank you. I'll see you again next time.